All right, what's going on YouTube today? So I don't really think I was gonna ever make a video again, but I'm doing this more for me. I know it's kind of greedy to say with you guys being here, but I want to make recaps again, just mainly for the benefit of me kind of looking back and seeing why I took a trade, the reasoning behind it, and so on. So I've already marked out the first trade here. I took two trades today, both W's, as you guys saw. I made about $1,250 in the title, which is true, and I'll show you guys that in my performance stats. But I've been gone for a while, and I know that, and I apologize. Kind of just had to figure myself out again. So I definitely feel like I did that. We're now on I passed a funded, been trading on that. Just to kind of give you guys what's been going on the funded. I got the funded passed about, I want to say a week ago. I want to say I passed on the 13th or 14th, and then the first day I technically traded was last Thursday. This was me. I lost $8 practicing on my phone, making sure everything was going to work. And then this week was the first week that I actually truly traded. Now Monday, losing $87, I entered a trade that I should not have. I kind of just traded two trade. There was not really an entry behind it. Sorry for my dog. And yeah, this was just bad mental error. Yesterday, I wouldn't call it a forced trade, but took a loss. But as you guys can see, today we made $1,243, and we made everything back and then some. So I'm up $729 on the funded. But yeah, so let's go ahead and talk about the two trades that I took today. So coming into market open, which is this, I have it marked out on this red dotted line right here. I'm on the 15-minute because that's what my entry was taken off of, but I'm going to go to the 5-minute to make things a little bit easier to look at. All right, let me just fix this all real quick. All right, so coming into market open, right? We targeted the London high and we swept it pretty quickly. Now, obviously, I trade an inverse model. If you guys want to see a full breakdown of my personal strategy that I've gotten from my mentor, leave a comment down below and I can make one. But I trade the inverse strategy. So typically what will happen is once market, sorry, not me, I don't do it. But once market essentially sweeps a bit, I would say I'll call it a big level of liquidity. So that being either a London high, an Asia high, a London low, Asia low, etc. I look for the inverse. I look for the market to essentially form a market structure shift and go the other way. But sometimes that does not happen, just like today. So after we swap London, sellers were not able to step in, and we had a couple of setups, right? We had this 5-minute fair value gap we could have inversed, we had this 5-minute fair value gap we could have inversed, and we could have targeted London low and other targets below from last week, but we didn't end up doing that. So I had to kind of switch my bias, and I did that after we took out Asia high, because Asia high for me was the last nearby buy side liquidity for us to take out, and then essentially look for my reversal. So when that ended up not happening and we shot through, we did have a couple of 15-minute fair value gaps from a couple of nights ago on the 19th that if we inversed, I was going to look to take longs and target some highs up here, which is what I ended up doing. So I ended up entering, and I entered off the inverse. We shot up pretty much through it. Actually, I shot off this candle. We shot up pretty much through it, and I got filled at 21,517, and as you guys can see, I got stuck in some consolidation. Now, granted, this was right after like a news candle came out and we shot up, so I thought we were going to continue, especially after pulling back, and I'll get back into something, but I want to talk about how I got stuck in consolidation. I got a little bit greedy, but I'm going to talk about something real quick. So I'm going to get rid of my entry for value gap, and what I was looking for, right, was I entered before the pullback into this 5-minute fair value gap that we formed on the way up, right? Price is drawn to typically is drawn to the nearest either imbalance or draw on liquidity, whichever one is nearby, whichever one is larger, whichever one has more value to it, more resting orders, etc. Right? So I ended up entering 7 here. So off the 15-minute fair value gap inverse, which was this, I ended up entering 7. All right, now, once I was already in and price shot down a little bit, which I figured having the 5-minute fair value gap down here, aka the imbalance, after we we tapped into the fair value gap and we shot right back up, I entered in 3 more, because if we didn't inverse it and buyers took control again, that usually means that we're going to continue in that direction, already being in a bullish trend. So I ended up entering 3 more, and I had 7 contracts to trim at my external high take profit here, and then I was going to hit full take profit at this other external high. So pretty much a scalp. Not really, I wasn't looking for any huge movement like I usually do, but yeah, so that's what I was looking for here. And what ended up happening was, and I'm going to zoom in here, the text going to get all distorted, but don't worry about it. We ended up hitting about 3.5 points away from my first take profit. Did I trim? No. So this was talking about earlier was with my greed. All right, I in the past I had a tendency to not trim or trim early. Sorry, Eliza, come on, hey. Sorry about that, guys. A tendency to trim early based off my emotion, and I've gotten a really good habit on doing that, and essentially just letting I set limit orders for, you know, if I buy market orders, I'll do a limit sell order, so it sells and it trims automatically for me, and I haven't had any issues. But in a moment like this, when I'm 2 points away and I see that price is struggling, I need to just know just to trim. Right? Because at the end of the day, 2 points isn't going to make that much of a big difference, and I'm going to get my trims off anyway. And instead of having to exit early like I did, I exited off of this candle at about 527, and I made about $200 on the trade when I could have trimmed here and made about 600 off the trade. So just something, you know, a mental thing to learn, and it's going to happen. You know, it's going to happen. But that was the first trade. Honestly, I think I did a very good job of finding my entry. Staying true to my stop loss. I think I was risking about $500 on this trade, and I would have made 600, but I only made 200, so my RR wasn't very good when the trade was finalized, but the overall strategy of the trade was good. Now, in regards to the second trade, let's go ahead and hop into that one. All right, so this was the second trade that I took today. This one kind of came out of nowhere, I'm going to be completely honest. So looking on the 15-minute, as you guys can see, we just completely dumped. And this was due to the stock exchange had an auction with bonds and stuff. I'm not going to get into it because most of you that are watching this aren't going to really understand. But just know that a lot of stuff happened that usually doesn't affect the market, ended up affecting the market today. So the reason I took this trade was I wanted just to see if sellers stayed strong. So obviously we've been buying all day. Now, granted, I'm going to call this a gamble, but it was like an educational gamble, if that makes sense. The reason I took it was we were inversing all these. I wanted to see if we could inverse all these imbalances. If we did, I would feel super confident in taking short, truly because we haven't taken out London low, which is probably the strongest liquidity that's left that hasn't been taken out, that's realistically to be taken out today. Obviously, they're stronger. You know, we could say all-time highs. We could say news from weeks ago, but those aren't realistic for a daily trade. But London low hadn't been taken out, so I still could have switched to shorts, which is what I ended up doing. Now, on the 15-minute, we ended up inversing both these fair value gaps, but I entered off the 1 minute, and the reason I did that was, or I guess 1 minute / 5 minute. We had a small consolidation here, right? A little bit of a pullback, and then we ended up shooting down again. So I was watching on the 15-minute, the 5, and the 1. I took my entry off the 5, which was this inverse off this fair value gap right here, because we ended up inversing the 15-minute, shooting back, and then coming back down. So that's how I got my entry. Obviously, on the 15-minute, if we go off this gap, it looks like I got an insane entry, but really I got a 5-minute entry, which is what I typically do. And I ended up using the 15-minute for trims. I trimmed at this previous low, because if we close below this low, then we would continue our breakup structure. Obviously, on the 5-minute, we had a breakup structure right here. On the 15-minute, we had a breakup structure right here. So that also kind of led to my confluence of going to the downside. And after that, I ended up setting my limit order. I ended up trimming right here. I trimmed 3 of my 2 contracts for about, I don't know, I think it was like 48 points. And then I was holding on the low for 190 points. And as you guys can see, we just completely dumped. And the reason I didn't think we were going to dump this fast, the reason I thought we were going to sell off was strictly because every time that we've tried to really buy up, we stop, we consolidate, and then we ended up inversing this time. As you guys can see, that I was waiting for this the whole day, right? I was waiting for this after the London sweep. I was waiting for this after the Asia sweep. I ended up switching longs because we inversed a bearish fair value gap. I mean, a bullish fair value gap. I know we inversed a bearish fair value gap. Sorry. But yeah, I mean, this trade made me. I mean, if I held till close, I could have made more. But I need to. I'm someone who likes to stick to my rules, so that's what I tend to do. But yeah, I mean, I wasn't really monitoring it because after the trims, I was already up $266 from the trade, or 285, I think it was, from the trade. So I was like, I mean, I'm big chilling at that point, right? And then it was funny. My dad came up. And because I went downstairs and he was working, he couldn't talk to me, so I said, okay. He came upstairs to ask me what I was going to ask him about, and he actually watched my full take profit get hit, and my balance hit 1200, and I think it was 12 what would we say, 1243. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, this is just taking advantage of the moment, I would say. I definitely think this was the best entry you could have gotten. But if we were looking to inverse this one, then I would have understood that one. Like, if you waited to inverse this 15-minute, I would have understood that one as well. But since the only thing that the only reason why I would have thought people might not have entered off this one is just because we had this 15-minute fair value gap. But at the end of the day, we were already creating higher highs and higher lows, and we broke structure on the 5 and 15-minute. That kind of just leads to the trend switching, and this is, we can call this a market structure shift as well. After taking out, we'll call it like these equal highs it took out. But yeah, I mean, this is overall a good trade. But yeah, if you guys are new to the channel and you guys want to see more trade recaps, please, subscribe. It's completely free. Leave a comment down below if you want. If you guys want to see any other videos, I'm not going to promise anything, but I do enjoy making these whenever I can. I'm kind of in a content space on both gaming and this channel where it's like I just make videos when I want. I don't really want to have like a set schedule. So you guys, this isn't me like returning, but I did want to start filming this again for me, because if I can't explain why I took the trade, then that shows me that I'm taking trades that I shouldn't be taking, even if they are working out. So it's just a good thing for me, and it could be a good thing for you guys to learn. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you all in maybe the next trade recap. Peace.